So the original idea that I had for covering The Last of Us on HBO was to watch the episodes and then play the game and then have a discussion and then use the notes from that discussion to make a video where I play the game and then I splice in all the different, similarities and the different arguments and whatnot, and then make a video out of that. But the guys over at EFAP have already sort of beat me to that, albeit it is the dyslexic version of it. They're watching the show and then splicing in bits of the game, but it's basically the exact same idea. So I thought, why not try my hand at a sort of breakdown / review type thing? Now, technically, I don't really know how to do that, but I have been sort of building toward eventually doing that anyway, so I don't know, here's my version of that, I guess. So episode 2 starts out in Indonesia. We're getting a little bit more origin on the virus. The sequence is really well shot. I didn't see any writing issues. Like, I kept expecting this dude to be like pushing her around and stuff like that, because it's written by Neil Druckmann. And he didn't do that. He seemed instead to be all consumed by this emergency. I do like the way characters talk to each other in this show. They don't seem to be directly addressing some audience they assume is brain dead, which is nice to see after having to endure basically everything from Disney for the past 5 years. Joel's wounded hand. Remember when Joel beat that Fedra agent to death? Yeah, he broke his hand, but don't worry. It's only a hairline.
A hairline?
It'll heal fast. There's the payoff right there for the wounded hand. That's the only payoff we get for it. Nah, at least they did acknowledge it though, a little, that he beat a guy to death with his hand and he, hurt his hand. At least they followed up on that.
Show us your arm.
The main thing that's weird about this scene is how much time has passed since they discovered that Ellie was infected until now. Presumably this is the day after. Ellie is waking up and they've obviously been watching her all night. They've had time to, talk to Ellie and see her wound again and stuff. Wouldn't they have already had this conversation? I don't know. Showing it this way just seems like a strange choice, I guess.
Don't.
I just didn't like this because it undercuts Joel's threat. Joel's like, dude, if she twitches, I swear to God. And then she starts twitching and he doesn't even raise the gun. First of all, I wouldn't have put this in. This was just for a joke. And it's like, oh yeah, haha. But also, how dangerous is that? These guys are so freaked out, which I don't agree with anyway, but they are. They've got itchy trigger fingers on this one. Joel has to be pretty freaked out to be suggesting letting a 14-year-old girl die.
Well, better them than us.
Considering what happened to his daughter and everything and his history.
I know.
Joel is convinced that she's infected and she's eventually going to turn. It's just like a delayed fuse or something. And then she does this and Joel doesn't even raise the gun. Like I said, I would not have this scene in the show. I would cut it out. I'd be like, no, this was dumb. This joke comes at too great a cost. But I think this should have cut straight to Joel, and Joel should have stepped back and just given her a look dude, I might shoot you on principle right now. You better fucking quit it. And then cut to Ellie and she goes, sorry, or something like that. If you're going to keep it in, that's the way it should be cut. Whatever. Oh my God, you are so stupid. You don't fucking know that there aren't zombies in here. You don't know that. How long has it been since Joel and Tess have been to this building? I know they've been here before, right? They're smugglers. This is their shit. This is what they do. But how long has it been since they've been here? At least long enough for brand new zombies to have accumulated here. You have no idea who wandered in here, who what humans came in here having been bitten, and chosen this place as a hideout and then died in some corner that you're not looking directly at. You have no idea. You just got here. Just ding, ding, ding. Oh, fucking just playing make-believe. I mean, what is wrong with you? And Joel and Tess don't say anything about it either. They're just like,
You're a weird kid.
Cone of silence on this scene. All I'm saying is if there were zombies around, they would have come and eaten you. You literally rang the dinner bell. How long do infected live? Oh, I thought you went to school. It's a really crappy one. That's what she says. She goes to school where they teach her about where all the states are and the capitals and all that shit.
It's in Michigan.
I go to school. I know where Detroit is.
They teach you that kind of shit, but they don't teach you how long the infected live. Seriously? They don't teach you anything about the infected in the post-apocalyptic zombie landscape. They don't teach you in military school all about the fucking enemy threat. Wouldn't that be kind of like the main thing they would be teaching you about? Yeah, he touches it with his bare ass hand, and he's got an open wound on the hand that he touches it with. And now I know that the argument here is that it's dead. I mean, he even says it's
Bone dry.
Would you touch it though? Would you touch it? Would you rub it on your fucking belly? Would you fucking go up to it and grab it with your bare fucking hand? And then no, you fucking wouldn't. Okay, you just wouldn't. Is Joel a pussy now? Now, when it comes to the dynamic between Joel and Tess, you might say, well, Joel's getting tossed around by Tess. She's boss, she's telling him what to do. And that's kind of true, but
stay focused.
Yes, ma'am.
it happens in the game, man. I don't know what to tell you. That's their dynamic. Tess is the leader. Between Joel and Tess, Tess is the leader and Joel is the muscle.
Here's the deal. We'll get her to your crew at the State House. But before we hand her over, they give us everything that we want.
That's just kind of the way it is in the game, dude. I mean, like, you can have a problem with that. Fine, you can have a problem with that, but you got to have a problem with it in the game, too. I mean, like, the only real crime that the showrunners have committed here is staying true to the source material. In the game, it's the other way around. In the game, Joel tries to touch Tess, and Tess backs away from Joel.
You going on?
No, don't touch me.
Here, Tess tries to get closer to Joel, and Joel backs away from Tess out of fear of infection. I mean, this is an episode that was made by Neil Druckmann himself. He wrote this episode. He directed this episode. So the fact that Joel does this is Neil Druckmann's choice. He knows better than anyone what happens in the game. This is a deliberate choice to make Joel a bit of a pussy right here, because any man who has deep feelings for a woman would have that protective nature, and they would be like, no, I don't care, whatever it is, show me. And like you would be trying to help and stuff, and then they would have to back away the way it happened in the game, right? No, I'm gonna protect you against myself because I'm infected.
Don't touch me.
But your instinct would not be, oh, please don't touch me, like what Joel does here. Wait, that's what alerts the clicker? That little breath? Look, I'm not saying that in reality the clicker wouldn't be able to hear Ellie's dainty little breath. Shit, man, I'd probably be able to hear it. And I'm operating here on the assumption that they can hear better than us, since they can do echolocation. I'm just saying, have Ellie step on a piece of broken glass or something, because later on, Joel is reloading his gun and the clicker doesn't even notice. I don't care if he is a little bit further away when Joel does the loudest part, which is like emptying out the gun. He's still inserting bullets into the cylinders. That's metal clinking on metal. And my rule is, if I could hear it, the clicker would definitely be able to hear it. Also, why doesn't Joel employ any of the tactics that are encouraged in the game, like throwing an object to distract clickers? He could flick a spent shell casing across the room, and it would make zero noise except for when it lands somewhere the fuck else. Now they're just jingling around in his pocket like he's fucking Santa Claus or some shit. It is so not worth it not to have spores. So the reason that the spores aren't in the show is because they didn't want to have to cover up the actors' faces. They wanted to be able to see the actors emoting. And I guess it makes it a lot harder to tell the story if they can't. But the thing is that there's only a few instances in the game where the characters have to even use the masks. It's just something that happens in the game from time to time to assist in world building. So it's entirely up to the discretion of the showrunners whether or how much of it to even use and for how long. I understand why they did it, and I disagree with the decision. It's stupid that they took it out, and they replaced it with a much more complex mechanic that they've already fucked up in portraying. What Tess describes to Ellie is something completely different than what happens when Joel shoots the zombie at the end of episode 2. She says that cordyceps grow underground as well. You step on a patch of cordyceps in one place and you can wake
A dozen infected from somewhere else.
You've just described a pressure plate type system. What actually happens in the show is a distress signal, okay? The zombie gets shot, it falls down, it calls in reinforcements. It makes a decision to call them in. That's not the same as stepping on a patch of cordyceps here, waking up zombies there. Wait, hold on a second. Holy shit, there actually is a patch of cordyceps right here. I didn't notice this before. There's a patch of cordyceps there. This guy accidentally fell down on a patch of cordyceps when he got killed by a zombie originally, and then Joel shot him and he fell back down and was like, you know what, fuck you, I'm calling in my homies. I'm calling in the homies from outside. What do you think of that, douchebag? That's what you get for killing me. Where the hell did this fucking hole come from in the first place? I mean, I know the city was bombed and everything, but this building is in one piece. If it was bombed, it would be completely demolished, and it's fucking not. I mean, look at the surrounding area. There's no evidence that this building has been bombed. It's actually, now that I think of it, like, why wouldn't this area be completely infested with zombies? This guy fell down on a patch of cordyceps when he died originally, but the zombies didn't come? I have so many questions right now. Like, if the patch of cordyceps was already there when the guy fell down originally, when he was originally killed, why didn't the zombies come? And if the zombies did come, why aren't they still there? Why aren't they just kind of milling around? Here's the thing though, I can actually explain this. When you die as the result of a zombie attack, right? Say a zombie fucking takes a chunk out of your neck, like they do in the game. You fall down, you bleed out, you die, you turn into a zombro. But during the transformation process, you create a patch of cordyceps on the ground. I mean, that would explain it, but maybe we should just move on because there's quite a few different things here. It's very unlucky to fall on the cordyceps. Where did the fucking hole come from? The mechanic is a different one than they described in the show. The mechanic is only used one time as well. None of this is possible if the guy isn't already laying on a patch of cordyceps. I'm not going to use my headcanon here. They didn't fucking describe that shit in the show. They didn't describe it. It's not in there. And there's no follow-up later on in the season to assist in the explanation of what happened here. But anyway, let's move on. Tess dumps grenades on the ground, ? Yeah. Why would you do it that way? I mean, yeah, okay, fine. So you want there to be a bigger explosion, but I mean, wouldn't the gas barrels kind of take care of that with one grenade? You'd be able to distribute the rest of the grenades. There was a whole box full of grenades. I mean, like, Joel could have taken 2 of them and Tess would have still had like 10. You know, I don't know how many's in a box, but there was a bunch. Like, they showed a bunch. And there was a bunch of weapons and ammo. She spends all this time like dumping things over and like doing stupid shit with grenades. She could have grabbed some ammo and just like thrown in at Joel. Like, here, take this, get the fuck out of here. Go. Just, you've got a bunch of grenades. You could do so much more damage. Just keep throwing grenades at the door. They're not attacking her. She's basically invisible to them because she's infected. She could just keep throwing shit at them. Like, would they respond to her like, oh, you just hurt me, I'm going to hurt you now? Is that how they work? I mean, it might be, but she's already infected, so who gives a fuck? She's going out in a blaze of glory, right? So just keep fucking throwing grenades at the zombies. I just thought it was kind of stupid that Ellie shows more attachment to Tess than Joel does. Joel is kind of, again, he's kind of just like dumbfounded. He's just sort of like getting soaked by the events that are unfolding instead of actually responding to them or having any kind of agency. He's just kind of getting like pushed around by the events and by the people in the scene. Joel needed to have a couple of lines.
Ellie,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this.
get a move on.
No! We're not leaving her! Get off me, you fucker!
It's just, I don't know. It didn't sit well with me. Why? Now, I've heard the argument that it's a more direct infection, but that just seems redundant in this case, since Tess has already been infected, and the other zombies obviously already know this, or else why aren't they attacking her? Honestly, if it happens again somewhere else in the show, and the victim turns like immediately, I'll forgive it. But as it stands right now, it just seems gratuitous. It has to have a purpose of some kind. This didn't seem to have a purpose. It's just like, okay, they're just going to have this like weird sexualized thing that like the zombies are now like, they're going to kiss you. I've never really been on board with the tentacles coming out of the mouth. When I first saw that, I was like, is that instead of the spores? Because I don't think that's very good. Now, don't get me wrong, horror is like one of, if not my favorite genre. And I love gore. Give me blood and bone. I love it. But it needs to be in service of the actual story, doesn't it? So that was episode 2. Pretty good overall. It's following the game, so it's kind of giving it a safety net. It's going to be kind of hard for them to screw this up. I mean, as long as they continue to do this, it's going to be at least close to as good as the game, which is fucking great. But as long as they hold true to the source material, I don't really see them running into any issues. I mean, it's not like the next episode is going to be a complete tangent that moves the story forward, not at all, and then they kill the 2 main characters off, and then they just get back to the main story, having wasted an entire episode. Oh, god damn it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can contribute to the Patreon for as little as $1. But if you don't have the extra cash, or you just don't fucking like the content that much, that's fine too. Just follow me on the socials, or just, join the Discord and geek out with us about stupid shit. Everything that you do to support the channel contributes to my ability to do this more times. Okay, I'm done.